so lost, and now they know now. We never slow down. I never thought now. These girls they come around. Don't love these hoes now. She love me for my sound. I'm posted in the clouds. I'm never coming down. Don't love these hoes now. I never thought now. I saw it on your face. You calling me the one. You said I never changed, but now that shit is done. We vibing to the beat. Your girl, she next to me. No place she'd rather be. It's kinda hard to see, and now they know me. She called me on the phone. She say she lonely. She won't leave me alone. She step up in the booth. Ain't fucking with you. You did that shit in 3. I did that shit in 2. So in love with you. Now you see my vision. Sorry for the wait. Out at midnight drifting. I never thought now. These girls they come around. Don't love these hoes now. She love me for my sound. I'm posted in the clouds. I'm never coming down. Don't love these hoes now. I never thought now. I saw it on your face. You calling me the one. You said I never changed, but now that shit is done. We vibing to the beat. Your girl, she next to me. No place she'd rather be. It's kinda hard to see, and now they know me. She called me on the phone. She say she lonely. She won't leave me alone. She step up in the booth. Ain't fucking with you. You did that shit in 3. I did that shit in 2. So in love with you. Now you see my vision. Sorry for the wait. Out at midnight drifting. I never thought now. These girls they come around. Don't love these hoes now. She love me for my sound. I'm posted in the clouds. I'm never coming down. Don't love these hoes now. I never thought now. I saw it on your face. You calling me the one. You said I never changed, but now that shit is done. We vibing to the beat. Your girl, she next to me. No place she.
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, to those of you who are going to Budapest. We've actually done it. I promise you, it is not FIFA, it's not PES, whatever. This is actually real life. We have made it to the Champions League final. I'm still struggling to actually process this. Honestly, it doesn't seem like it's real life. But here we are. Here we are. Champions League finalists. And we've beaten Atletico Madrid. Exactly how I predicted as well before the season started. I knew that we were reaching that final. All you have to do is check out my tweet before the season even started, where I'd done my predictions. Because we had a little theme going on in the last 3 years. Quarterfinals, last season semi-finals, this season final. And we are potentially 90 minutes, 120 minutes in fact, away from being champions of Europe, which, again, like, over the years, whenever we've been in the Champions League, etc., I've always sort of bypassed the Champions League because I knew that we weren't winning it. But now, we've put ourselves in probably our best opportunity of becoming champions of Europe. It's just madness. As much criticism, as much stick I've given to Arteta in the last 5 years. You know me, I've been calling Mikel Epstein. you know what I'm saying? But the fact that this man has even got me believing we could win a Champions League is just incredible. and I've got him to thank. Honestly, lost for words. Yesterday was just elation. Real talk. So I couldn't record an instant reaction straight after the game. However, I had to come on live with you guys. I just had to. This is huge. I said before the game that Arsenal could be in for arguably their best week in our history. We beat Atletico. We're into the final. We've done just that. We beat West Ham. That Premier League title is all but confirmed. That's if, of course, Man City do drop points. If Man City drop points at the weekend again, then excellent. That's pretty much title done, because that'll be what, 2 or 3 game swing. Like, we would have had to lose at least one of our last 3 games. And yeah, that West Ham game doesn't get much bigger than this. But listen, I'm not even thinking about West Ham. That game last night, that game, real talk here, there were times where emotions hit me. I was bare nervous throughout that entire game. I wasn't comfortable one bit. But as I said, when that full-time whistle went, elation, pandemonium, that atmosphere, can I just say, from start to finish, probably the best atmosphere there has ever been at the Emirates. I was obviously there to endure it. I wish I was. But it was simply incredible. From the build-up, like, we're not even talking from minute 1 to 95. We're talking from the build-up onwards. The atmosphere was rocking. The flares, just everything. And all we needed was the players to translate a performance on the pitch and get us to that final. And guess what they done? They did just that. What a performance. Yes, I know for the neutrals it may not have been pretty on the eye. But guess what? The bottom line is we are through to this final. And we're playing either PSG or Bayern. Which, you know, if I had to choose one, my preference would be Bayern. But either way, we know it's going to be a difficult game. So bring on whoever's in the final. Because the way we have performed in this Champions League campaign, yes, you know, rivals can cry about the fact we've had the easiest run-in out of anyone. But that's usually how it works, dickhead. No fucking shit. You finished top by beating Bayern, Inter Milan. In fact, winning pretty much all of your games, finishing top. That's how the cookie should crumble. And we were given a nice run-in to the final. Leverkusen, Sporting, and Atletico Madrid. And now we're potentially, as I said, 120 minutes away from being champions of Europe, which is mental. It's mental when you think about it, man, honestly. Let's see what the chat's saying. Big up Pride Tune. Haven't seen you in ages, you know. I hope you're keeping well, my friend. How are you doing today? Silly question, really. Come on. But yeah, I'm great. You can use any sort of, I don't know, emotions as you like. Just elation, euphoria, whatever, right? Just still to this day, I still just can't process. Like, are we actually in the final? Was that just a FIFA game on beginner difficulty? Do you know what I'm saying? Oh my days. Big up, Mr. Vop. I love the video thumbnail, mate. Appreciate it, my bro. Hey, big up Dark Side, my boy, each and every time. Make sure you are running the likes up if you haven't already. Budapest. You know, my bro. You know. What do we even say about the game? What do we even say about the bloody game? Shall we start with the manager? Honestly, if you win that Champions League, bro, you best believe, as well as the Premier League, because don't forget, we've got that to fight for as well. If you win both the Premier League and the Champions League this season, you best believe I'm serving you my breakfast, lunch and dinner. No word of a lie. Because these past two games, you've got to give it to him. It's not something I expected. I'm not going to lie. But guess what? He proved me wrong. With the Miles Lewis-Skelly selection in midfield. These past two games, he's played Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield, decided to, give us something a little bit different, which he's not known for, by the way. He's known for his stubbornness a lot. And I was expecting Martin Zubimendi to start last night, I'm not going to lie. But no. Lineup was spot on. Spot on. Tactics was spot on as well. Performance-wise, from every individual, including the subs, everyone just put in a shift, including Andrea Berta at the end. Andrea Berta, man like Andrea Berta, was scrapping with Simeone, towards the end. He is more than a sporting director for me. What can I say? That's his old club, by the way. His old club. Crazy. Why the hell message come out wrong twice? Oh, honestly. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry. I just couldn't. But yeah, as I said, right, Arteta. Although I've given you stick over the years, I've got to give you props. Like, if you win the league from here, as well as the Champions League, then 15 million per year, you've earned your money. And I won't question that, ever. If you win the Premier League and Champions League, 15 million per year, masterstroke. Let's get on to some individuals. Blimey. David Raya I thought was excellent. Although, to be fair, I don't think he had a whole lot to do, I would say. He made one big save in the second half to deny Griezmann, but that was about it. I thought his distribution was great. Handling was sound. Like, everything about Raya, perfect. Ben White. This guy's been under scrutiny for pretty much the entirety of this season. Not because of his ability, but I just don't think he's fit. But yesterday, man had Atletico Madrid hooking the likes of Alvarez and Lookman off. That's how good he was yesterday. That is probably his best performance in ages. And again, I don't put that down to Ben White as a footballer because, again, I've rated him for years. I think ever since he's been converted to a right back, he's been an excellent signing for Arsenal. He's put his body on the line throughout all these years, and I think for me he deserved a performance like that, man. In a semi-final, I thought defensively he was sound. Going forward, I thought he was excellent as well. Brilliant. Calafiori had a few shaky moments defensively. But he wasn't bad. He's just an absolute menace offensively, isn't he? Then we move to the two centre-backs. God, what are we doing? Chat, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And I'm going to look at the camera when I say this. How fucking dare you? For those who have put any of their dusty centre-halves in comparison to Saliba and Gabriel. Because I'm telling you now, Gabriel and Saliba are not only world class when it comes to a partnership, but individually, they are the two best centre-backs I have seen at Arsenal. Unfortunately, I've not had the pleasure to watch the likes of Tony Adams, Sol Campbell. They were playing during my time, but I was too young to remember. But I'm seeing Gabriel and Saliba, and every single performance, it feels like if one's going to have a poor game, the other steps up anyway. It's mental when you think about it. Gabriel has been one of the best centre-backs, if not the best centre-back in the world for the last 2 seasons. But William Saliba, I've been singing his praises all season long. I've been telling man that he is underrated. Not by Arsenal fans, but from rival fans in particular. He is world class, and he has been the best centre-back, well, one of at least. I mean, him and Saliba are on par. Your centre-halves, however, are sleeping on the pavement, bro. So I don't want to hear no comparisons. Because, yes, Saliba had that brain fart in the second half where he tried to head it back to David Raya. Fair enough. But apart from that, flawless. The pass he played to Gyökeres leading up to the first goal, incredible. And as I keep saying, he's been the best centre-back in the world. For me, it's between Saliba, Gabriel, Declan Rice and David Raya for PFA Player of the Year. None of this, Bruno Fernandes, the Portuguese, James Ward-Prowse, you know what I'm saying? None of that crap. If we win the league this season, them 4 should, well, obviously, all 4 of them can't win Player of the Year, but one of them, at least. Come on. Let's not be silly here. And if you don't think Saliba isn't the best centre-back on the planet right now, you're bewildered. Argue with your nan. Argue with your nan. Steal her biscuits. Steal her tea bags. Steal her thread so she can't do knitting anymore. Do what you got to do. In fact, no, don't do that to your nan. Let me rephrase that. Real quick. Argue with your fridge. That's what I meant to say. We move to the midfield. I mean, Christ. Where do we even start? Declan Rice. The fact people have the cheek to tell me that he's not good on the ball. Just deep that. Wow. They've really told me that he wasn't great on the ball. Pie and mash settings, etc., etc. Wow. Let me throw this question out to you guys in the chat, yeah? If Arsenal win the Premier League and the Champions League this season, what's stopping Declan Rice from winning the Ballon d'Or? Just out of curiosity, guys. Because if you win the Premier League and Champions League, you're automatically the top three, surely. I'm just curious, guys. Like, there's no delusion over here. Like, you know, I speak honest. I don't do this hype thing, yeah? But if Declan Rice was going to win the Premier League and the Champions League, what is honestly stopping him from winning the Ballon d'Or this season? Because once again, last night, in yet another massive game, turns up when it matters. Him in the 6 role? And that's a good point as well. Let me bring that up. But England winning the World... I mean, if he wins the World Cup with England, which is, again, I think there are better teams than England in the World Cup. You could argue probably Spain or France are the favourites. But, hypothetically, if Declan Rice was going to win the World Cup, Champions League and the Premier League, I think he will win the Ballon d'Or, you know. And that's just me predicting. It's not about what you want, it's what I'm predicting. If Declan Rice wins the Premier League and Champions League, which again, bro, this game has got me moving like a Top Goonie, you know. Jesus Christ. But how can you be buzzing after that? How? How can you not affirm your own delusions after watching that game last night when you've just reached a Champions League final for the first time in 20 odd years? But tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. If Declan Rice wins the Premier League, Champions League and the World Cup this season, or come the end of the year, because I think if we win the league, he's going to win Premier League Player of the Year, that's for sure. What is stopping him from winning the Ballon d'Or? Unbelievable footballer, man. He may not be pretty on the half turn. I get it. But off the ball, no one touches Declan Rice. No one. I'm telling you. Him in the 6 is, for me, blockbuster settings. Let me catch up with a few of the comments. Big up Red, just subscribed. Appreciate my bro. Yeah, I really do appreciate it. Big up Jay in the chat as well. I'm still buzzing. This Champions League final is huge, bro. Every player was superb yesterday. Skelly in the midfield. I was just going to mention Miles Lewis Skelly. When I said against Fulham that if we played Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield from February onwards, in midfield, then I think we would have had this title wrapped up. I genuinely mean that, by the way. And I still stand by that point. That I reckon if Skelly played in midfield from now... Well, sorry, not from now, but from February onwards, I think we would have had this title on lock. And I'm praying he starts from now until the end of the season in midfield. Yet another masterclass in midfield from Miles Lewis-Skelly. I don't want to see him at left back. Because we've got two capable left backs anyway in Calafiori, who, to be fair, can't really stay fit. But then again, like, he's one of the few that has a free role in this team. So you probably keep him around, you know. And then you've got Hincapié, which, again, more on him later. But Skelly in midfield is an absolute cheat code. And you know what it is? Every time he breaks the lines, I swear, he's living off Barcelona vibes. Is it just me? It's just mental. Lookman was in Ben White's pocket. Lookman didn't even play yesterday, so, like... Let's be civil here. Let's be transparent. Big up Ryan City go. Hi Rory, congratulations on Arsenal reaching the Champions League final. Let's see who you'll face tonight between Bayern Munich or PSG. Will be a great game tonight. Yeah, I'm sure it will be, and I can't wait for it. Bring it on, basically. Bring on whoever is going to make the final, right? Because we know it's going to be tough. I would personally prefer Bayern Munich, purely because despite them having, the attack where, just absolutely devastated, aren't they? I would rather play them because PSG as a unit could cause us more problems. And I think we can stuff out Bayern's threat. Whereas PSG, as I said, as a unit, they are probably one of, if not the best team in Europe. Miles Lewis-Skelly take a bow, 100%. I think Gabriel and Saliba got to be the best centre-backs this season, definitely. 100%. They've been the best centre-back duo for over 3 years now. No one can tell me otherwise. I keep hearing the likes of Romero, Van der Ven, Diaz, Gvardiol, bloody, what's his name? De Ligt at Man United, for Christ's sake. He was, getting involved in bloody Saliba debates. I'm like, are we okay here? I said this from, November, January onwards? Something like that. Saliba has been underrated this season from rival fans just because of the trajectory Gabriel has taken over the last couple of years. But they're really not factoring how good Saliba has been so far this season. I think he has got to be at least in the top 10 for Ballon d'Or this season. Hey, listen. There, I said it. Oh, he had to remind me, didn't he? Oh, thought he wanted Gabriel dropped for the rest of the season. I did say that, yeah. But to be fair, after that Man City game, my head was on Pluto. Real talk. And listen, I still stand by that, Gabriel properly pissed me off against Man City. The way he defended, the way he just got brushed by Erling Haaland. The fact he probably should have been sent off in that game, Yeah, he had me rattled. As an honest Man City fan, Saliba and Gabriel are world-class centre-backs. 100%. Zubimendi getting benched should shake him up and get him eager to drive the ball forward again. I thought Zubimendi put in a shift when he came on, And this is what happens when you have that competition. Because now it encourages, as you said, Zubimendi to then shake up And when he's given a start, I think, listen, that's going to be interesting to see how that midfield rotation actually pans out, you know. Is Skelly going to be the first name on the team sheet for the next couple of games of the season, or the last couple, should I say, going into next season? Obviously, there's been speculation about Skelly's future, Man United, etc. I beg Arsenal, you keep hold of him. Because this is why you always trust your talents. And this is what I've been banging on about Ethan Nwaneri for about a year now. I guarantee if we had Nwaneri, and I don't want to sound like I'm being bloody, what's the term? I don't want to seem like I want to turn all bloody petty and petulant, etc. But I think Nwaneri deserved to be there, man. I think if Nwaneri was given minutes this season, I reckon he would have been one of our best players. And I said at a point where if Nwaneri started as our attacking midfielder, then he probably would be in conversations of Premier League Young Player of the Season. I'm putting it out there right there. It's on YouTube to see. I think Ethan Nwaneri, no word of a lie, if he was actually playing in this first team right now, in fact, if he was starting, he would be one of our best players. Big up Cooper each and every time. Appreciate you in the building. Smash the likes, people, 100%. How many likes are we actually on at the moment? We're on 7 likes, eh? Not too bad considering I think we started the stream. When did we start the stream again? We've been going on for 30 minutes and it's not too bad. Let's try and aim for at least 15 come the end of the stream. Minimum. Because, you know, we're going Budapest, innit? I thought Declan Rice has been brilliant this season. Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, here's a question for the Arsenal fans in the chat, yeah? Who would you say has been your player of the season so far? Rice is so similar to Man City's Rodri. He is so good as an honest Man City fan. I think, you know, you could say Rodri is a little bit more elegant than Declan Rice. And you could say because of the Ballon d'Or, etc., Rodri over the years and based on longevity has been better than Declan Rice. But so far this season, yeah, like it has to be said, Declan Rice has been the best midfielder in the Premier League. You can talk to me about Fernandes. Listen, he's had a fantastic season. But I'm basing it off impact and the way Arsenal play. The thing is, right, if Man City were going to win the Premier League, I would be saying, listen, Cherky should win Player of the Year because he's been that vital for Man City. Every time he's played, he has been that X factor in the final third for City every time they play. So, for me, if City were going to win the league, Cherky should win Player of the Year. If Arsenal win the league, likewise, I think it's going to be Declan Rice. Or give it to one of Raya, Gabriel and Saliba. Because there is the backbone of Arsenal right there. Declan Rice, Gabriel, Saliba, David Raya. Could probably throw in Jurien Timber as well. That is the core we are talking about at Arsenal. We don't have Declan Rice. I don't think Arsenal would be in the position they are in at the moment. Rory, I agree because Rodri won the Ballon d'Or in 2024 and I think Rice deserves 1-2 if he wins the Premier League and the Champions League. Yeah, 100%. Rice has been our spine in the team alongside Gabriel, Saliba and Raya. Couldn't agree more. Big up Liam each and every time. You're good, my bro. I can't lie though, you robbed them last night. I mean, should we talk about the 2 penalties? I mean, to be fair, right, the first penalty, I don't think there is a whole lot in it. I just think that's a horrible miss from Simeone. I think Gabriel just did enough to put him off balance. The second one, I think Calafiori is clumsy, but it's a foul on Gabriel. Like, I mean, listen, I think if Gabriel wasn't fouled, that would have been given as a penalty, 100%, right? But because Gabriel got fouled, like, you got to pull the initial foul back, innit? You don't just give the penalty when Gabriel's already been fouled. Like, that's not how it works exactly. You could argue, listen, we should have got a penalty in the first leg. I still stand by that was a penalty, by the way. I don't flip-flop around here. I think that was a nailed-on penalty. In fact, it wasn't probably necessarily the fact they overturned the penalty due to the fact there wasn't much contact. It was because it's not a clear and obvious error. So I just think, listen, I think that should have been given as a penalty. So like, we could have it both ways. Arsenal could have easily won a penalty away at Atletico. But, you know, Atletico could have done the same likewise. But then again, like, could have happened to a more deserving football club, you know. Atletico Madrid, known for the dark arts and shit. Yeah, but you're in the final. Hopefully we'll see you. Because I said earlier that I would rather play Bayern than PSG. But then again, I stated the fact it's going to be tough regardless. So, we'll see. We will see tonight. I can still see Man City win the FA Cup in 2 weeks. Yeah, you will win the FA Cup. Chelsea are dusty. I fancy us to win that final and do the cup double. That'd still be a good season for Man City for me. 100%. It's just, you know, the Premier League is what you want, innit? You want to win as many Premier League titles as you can. But this season, it's got to be... It's got to be Arsenal's year. And it had to be. Otherwise, Arteta would have been trodden on eggshells. Let me tell you that for a fact. Player for the season is easily Raya. That's a good shout, you know. Very good shout. Because I think, honestly, you saw what happened when we dropped Raya for them 2 games in the final and the FA Cup. We got knocked out of both of them. So, although Raya can get a little bit too comfortable at times when it comes to his distribution, you can't deny that Mikel Arteta, and this is over the, last 3 years? It has to be said, like, when it comes to the Raya Ramsdale debate, I always sat there and said, listen, Raya has always been a better goalkeeper. Raya at Brentford was better than Arsenal Ramsdale. And I said this. I think Raya should have been our number 1 goalkeeper. And it's starting to pay off, it's fair to say, because he's excellent when it comes to distribution, and he has 1 or 2 big saves in the big occasions. He's just incredible, bro. Like 30 million. I think he's won 3 Golden Gloves, Premier League Golden Gloves, in the last 3 years. And he's also won the Champions League Golden Glove as well. Whatever they call it nowadays. Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I can't wait for it, by the way. Especially now that Arsenal are through to the final, isn't it? Yeah, I think Arsenal deserve to win the Premier League title this season. They have been brilliant. The thing is, I don't think we've been brilliant this season. I just think everyone else has been crap. Again, if we win it, I think we do deserve it. But I wouldn't say we've been necessarily brilliant this season. We've still had slip-ups. We've still had, you know, games where we look at and go, what the hell? I mean, I can't tell you how many trigger warnings I've given you guys so far this season. It's actually mental when you think about it. Because there's been, the Wolves game. We dropped points to Nottingham Forest. We dropped points to Liverpool, the worst Liverpool team, who were getting Bonnie Blued week in, week out. I'm just like, come on. There are games there, like Chelsea likewise, when we drew 1-1 against, 10 men. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think we have been brilliant this season, but we deserve the title, if that makes sense. Big up Shiftlock, dark times for me, man. Big up. Oh, dear. You better hope we don't win that Champions League, or else, yeah, your club is getting abused. Let me tell you that for a fact. He's a Chelsea fan, by the way, guys. Yeah. Worst player of the season would be Goldberg. I don't really want to speak on negatives today, really, but I think worst player of the season. Oh, it's difficult, Has it been KSI, guys? I'm trying to think now. I don't think anyone's been terrible in defence this season. Everyone's played their part. You could say Odegaard, probably. But then again, he's been injured. So you can't really judge him. Martinelli, no. I don't think it's necessarily been our worst player. Because, you can't forget that Champions League campaign in the league phase, by the way. Trossard was excellent at the start of the season. Jesus? Maybe that's another contender. Havertz hasn't played enough. So I don't think you can really... I think it's between Jesus and Noni, to be honest. Hey, big up AT, my brother in the chat, Guys, I think we've gone off topic, I was gonna go through the players and basically praise them on their... I think we were, on Lewis Skelly? I've already spoken about him, haven't I? Skelly was immense. All night. Eze had a bit of a quiet one. But you know what? You're due a quiet game. Because, you've done your job, as far as I'm concerned so far this season. So, listen, you're due a quiet one. That's what I'm going to say. Bukayo Saka, one of the most disrespected players in Europe. That's all I'm going to say. He's had a pretty poor season for his standards. But this guy is supposedly not a big game player. Well, that's big goals against, Bayern, Real Madrid, Atletico to send us to the bloody final. He's got 25 GA against all of the big six. But he's not a big game player, is he? Cool. Yes, you can say it's a tap-in, but at the same time, you've got to be there to pounce. You've got to be alert in the 18-yard box, and that's exactly what he done. Poacher's goal. What was that tweet? 4 years ago, was it? 5? 6? I don't know. You deserve more, Arsenal fans. Well, you know what? We are potentially 90 minutes away from winning the Champions League, or 120. And we're 3 games away from winning the Prem. Altogether, we've got 4 games. Only 4, Until hopefully we make history. I thought Saka. I was a bit. Thing is, I was a bit surprised that Saka got taken off. But again, that might be due to fitness because he's just come back from an injury, hasn't he? That was only his second start since that Achilles injury, which he suffered. So, I mean, I don't know, but I think he came off way too early for my liking. Yo, big up my bro Deontay each and every time. Hope you're blessed, my bro. Darkside, big up, bro. Saka is a big game player. Don't know why they're hating on him. I want him to do well for England. This is another thing as well. Like, he steps up for England as well. The amount of big goals he scored for England. He's one of, apart from Kane, right? And let's be honest, Kane's been, I think he made his England debut in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, right? Nobody has got more goal involvements than Bukayo Saka for England. But we keep hearing every tournament, he shouldn't start. Foden, Palmer, Jared fucking Bowen, bro. Just do me a favour. Do me a favour. This is all because he's had an underwhelming season, not by his, doing, because again, it's nothing to do with his ability. It's because he's come back from a grade 3 hamstring injury and he's been rushed back. It's nothing to do with the fact, he can't play football anymore. He can't take on his man. Why is he always the benchmark as well? Every time certain man like Elise, Foden, Palmer, every time they play well, it's like, well, look at the amount of goals he's scored in comparison to Saka. Oh my days, every time, Jesus Christ, God forbid, players bag a hat-trick. Whose name gets brought up the most every time someone scores a hat-trick? Who's guessed? Bukayo Saka. It's unbelievable. If he's that shit, why is he the benchmark every time? Why do you bring him up? Ask him for a friend, Exactly. Scoreboard said 1-0, not tapping. Exactly, bro. Saka has been injured all season. We have 4 games and can't risk it. Yeah, exactly. Well, he's not been injured all season, has he? But he's had a few knocks here and there. He obviously suffered with that hip injury, as well as, I believe he pulled his hamstring early on in the season. So he's had injuries this season. So let's not pretend that he's been poor just because of his ability. It's nothing to do with that. It's because he just hasn't been able to stay fit consistently. And he's still a world-class player. Can see Foden not making the World Cup because he's had a massive fall-up from 2 seasons ago when he used to be a great player, but now he's been poor since. Yeah. Exactly. I don't see Palmer going to the World Cup either, the way he's performing. I really don't. Tuchel came out, obviously, after the international break, saying, something about Phil Foden along the lines of, there's no guarantee that he's going to be a starter or even go to the World Cup. The hate against Saka was increased when he signed the new contract. Yeah, exactly. But that is why he is on that sort of money. That is why you pay massive, massive wages for players like that to step up in the big moments. And yesterday he earned his money until, he was taken off. Bro, don't mean anything if it's a tap-in or not a goal. It's a goal. Exactly. Facts. If not, the best attackers in world football will be crap. Morgan gives White for the World Cup. That's a shout. That is a good shout. But I think when I look at the number 10s England have got at the moment and the way they're performing, you've got Morgan Rogers, who I think went through a purple patch early on in the season, has been crap ever since January. You've got Jude Bellingham, hasn't been able to stay fit at all, so I don't know, he may not be going to the World Cup either. Cole Palmer's been shit. Foden's been shit. That number 10 position is definitely up for grabs for players like Eze, for instance, who has turned up in the running. Like, again, you can talk about the fact he hasn't done anything all season apart from Tottenham. Fine. But guess what? He's turned up when it has properly mattered. No one can tell me otherwise. And this whole narrative that he's not been great all season, he's only had Tottenham apparently. Well, hold on. Assist against Bayern, assist against Man City, assist against Atletico in the league phase, including, 5 goals against Tottenham, a banger against Newcastle, banger against Leverkusen in the Champions League. But he's not done anything apart from scoring a hat-trick against Spurs and obviously a brace at their shithole. So, yeah, this is what I'm saying. I swear, everyone, when it comes to speaking Arsenal, they have brain lapses for real. Every single time. But as I was saying about Bukayo Saka, yeah, he is one of the most disrespected, if not the most disrespected player on the planet. And again, I can come on here and admit that he's not had a good season for his standards. But as I've just mentioned, it's because of that hamstring injury. Grade 3, Grade 3. Facts, Saka was out for a whole month at the start of the season and hasn't been the same since. Exactly. And he's just sent us to the Champions League final. It had to be him as well, by the way. Arsenal fan growing up, one of our own. The guy has basically carried us through the pits to where we are now. And that couldn't have happened to a more deserving player, by the way. I think O'Reilly will definitely make it in the England squad. Oh, 100%. Now, I don't know whether he'll start, though. That's the thing, because I think him and Lewis Hall will be battling out for the left-back position. But Nico O'Reilly, without a shadow of a doubt, should be in that England squad. I 100% agree with you. But back onto the players yesterday, right? Trossard, I thought was excellent. The past couple of games, that has been the Trossard from early on in the season. And yes, he still hasn't scored, right? He still hasn't scored so far this year, which is bothering me slightly that these performances have not been rewarded. But I thought he was excellent again, He had the shot, which ricocheted off Jan Oblak, which led to Saka's path, and we ended up scoring to make it 1-0. And I just thought, his work ethic and even going forward, I thought he was a threat at times. I really did. And these are the performances I do want to see from Trossard on a consistent basis, because he can have a patch where he just disappears. But then he'll have the odd game where he's absolutely outstanding. He's one of them players where when he's bad, But when he's on form, he's a fantastic player still. 31 years of age. 31, And he gets it still. He gets what it takes to... Excuse me. He gets what it takes, basically. He gets what it takes. He just gets it, is what I'm trying to say, to play for Arsenal. Nico O'Reilly scored a double against Arsenal at League Cup final. Yeah. And don't really want to be reminded about that, but there you go. But yeah, Trossard was excellent. Then we come to the striker. What did I tell people? What did I tell people about this striker, you know? I've had many debates about it. I've had many people telling me, oh, but Kai Havertz, he's the saviour. He can hold up the ball. He's got a fancy first touch. Gyökeres with a bitch is different gravy. And yes, the only criticism I have with Gyökeres last night was the fact he didn't score. That chance, I think he probably should have put that away, if we're being brutally honest. But apart from that, he bullied that Atletico Madrid back line. Bullied them. They couldn't contain him. I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch. Hold up play, bringing others into play. He was an absolute nuisance all game. One of the best performances I've seen from Gyökeres all season. And now you're starting to see title running, Champions League running Gyökeres. Do you know what I'm saying? He's one of the reasons why we are in this final, by the way. The penalty he scored. And the game he had last night, where again he should have scored. On another day it could have come back to bite us. But it didn't. So now we can thoroughly praise that overall performance from Gyökeres. He worked his absolute bollocks off. And the thing is, Arteta could have easily brought off Gyökeres for his son Havertz. But he clocked that Gyökeres was an absolute nuisance. He was causing all sorts of problems to that Atletico back line. So he kept him on for the full 90 minutes. Which again, on another day, he would have brought on Havertz. Guaranteed. And I do not want to hear nothing about that German giraffe up top again ahead of Gyökeres. Never again. And you know what's funny, right? You know what's funny? I do this with players all the time. Gabriel, for instance. When it went rough, when it went tits up for Gabriel, I stuck by him. I always said, listen, there's potential there in this guy. I can still see him shaping up. Being a fantastic centre-back. Look at him now. David Raya likewise. When everyone wanted Aaron Ramsdale back in goal. In fact, when everyone, not everyone, but when that away at Chelsea, was singing Ramsdale's name when Raya was in goal, still stuck by him, you know. I still coming on here saying, listen, Raya's still our best goalkeeper. It's been, a couple of games. Give him an opportunity. But no. Friends of Aaron were pissed big time. So they felt like, listen, we want Ramsdale back in goal. I'm trying to think of who else, you know. I mean, you could say Gyökeres is certainly one of them because I am part of the Gyökeres Defence League this whole time. In this dead-arse system, you know. Scored 21 goals. Led us to a Champions League final in his first season. Yet this fan base had the cheek, the audacity to abuse him only because he doesn't have a first touch. Behave, man. Nico O'Reilly, 2 the same header goals. 5 minutes against Arsenal. Got final. Saka assisted us against Fulham with an assist and a goal for our 3-0 in the Prem, and a Saka goal for the UCL. He's our star boy. He's clutch for us. To be fair, he's 24 years of age, isn't he? So I wouldn't say he's necessarily our star boy. But listen, he deserved that. And I agree, he is clutch for us. He's not going to turn up in every single big game, right? I'm not saying that. But don't tell me that he's not a big game player. Maybe Nico O'Reilly scores against Chelsea at the FA Cup final. Maybe. I mean, to be honest, I couldn't care less about the FA Cup final because I know that Chelsea are going to get dicked. Trossard was playing out of his skin. We finally had motion on the left side. 100%. It seems like whenever Calafiori plays at left back, that's where we see the best of Trossard, because that's 2 performances in a row. And in fact, you could rewind it back to the start of the season where Trossard was playing out of his skin and he had a lot of clutch moments for Arsenal. You're thinking, the Sunderland game. I feel like when Nkapie's behind him, there's no real outlets. And it feels like, I don't know, he's almost isolated on the left-hand side. But, yeah. Listen, we still do need a left winger, right? That's, without a question, right? We should be prioritising a top left winger because we can't be persistent with Trossard and Martinelli as our left wingers next season. We just can't. Period. 2 domestic cups at one season. It's not bad. It's not a bad scenario for Man City, honestly. Yes, it's not bad. That'll still be a good season. But, the fact you've allowed Arteta to win a Premier League title, I don't know. It's still not going to save you from social media, unfortunately. Because if we win the league, worse yet, like if we win the Champions League as well, then you lot are cooked, I'm telling you. Gyökeres was a nuisance all over the pitch. Agreed. I know Gyökeres was the sitter last night, but it was excellent, and also Haaland can use his strength as well to bully defenders as well. And Gyökeres last night was brilliant, 100%. As a Man City fan, you Arsenal need to bring UCL trophy to England. I mean, I appreciate it, and obviously from an Arsenal fan's perspective, I'm not gonna bring that comment down because you're complimenting my club in it. But if this is anyone else, right, I would be coming on here saying, "Oh, I hope Tottenham bring the UCL trophy to England and make the Premier League proud just because it's good for English football." Nah. That ain't me. But, you're entitled to your opinion in it. But, yeah, I'm definitely not one of them stereotypes, that's for sure. Does that happen every day? Oops, every year. Oops, every decade. This is a special thing, even being in the finals. Enjoy it all. I will try my best to manifest every moment of that Champions League final as much as I can. I'm not even thinking about who we're playing in the final. I'm just embracing it all, really. Gabby is the heart of our defence, 100%. Although you could argue Saliba, since he's come in, is the reason why our defence is so solid today. You could put that down to Raya, you could put that down to, Declan Rice, whoever. But since Saliba's come in, I think he's made Gabriel the centre-back he is today, I really do. Bayern will find the way to crush PSG, especially at the Allianz Arena. I don't know. I don't see Bayern Munich crushing PSG. If I'm honest, I don't see anyone beating this PSG team at the moment. I think they are ridiculous. As a unit, they are unbelievable. Whereas I think Bayern Munich, although they do score a lot of goals, I think they do rely heavily on individual brilliance. So that is why I would rather face Bayern Munich than PSG. But as I said right earlier, it doesn't matter who we play. It's going to be difficult regardless. And we could be in for a beating, an absolute massacre. But, depending on if we get absolutely crushed in the final, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to support the boys. Whether you're Arteta in, Arteta out, when you're in a Champions League final, when you're 3 games away from potentially winning the Premier League, back them from now until the end of the season. Has Calafiori done well? What, over the course of the season? I think every time he's played, he's not done too bad. It's just he's not managed to stay fit. That's the problem with Calafiori. Otherwise, I think he would be starting the majority of our games if he could stay fit. Raya is our golden glove with more clean sheets than a 5-star. Yo. That's a quality analogy, I'm not going to lie. He's our golden glove winner with more clean sheets than a 5-star hotel, quality. Gyökeres next season can challenge Haaland for the golden boot. I think both strikers are amazing, and Gyökeres has got used to a different league and he's done brilliant. Yeah, considering this is his first season, don't get me wrong, right? He still has flaws that he's got to rectify, right? But again, this is his first season, so I'm not going to go too harsh on him on that basis. Next season, though, I may be a little bit more brutal, if that's the term. Yeah, brutal on Gyökeres if he doesn't then kick on from this. If he stagnates, that's when I will start questioning the signing, because I'm just like, why? Why have you stagnated now from the season you had last year? You scored 21 goals and then you get worse, basically. That can't be the case. He's got to, kick on from the season he's had this season. But because it's his first, I'm not jumping board with much criticism, because I can see a striker in there. He's clearly scoring goals, so no one can tell me otherwise. We bought him to score goals. We didn't bring him in for his first touch. Though saying that, we brought him in for that first touch being goal. Well, it's the same with Haaland. He doesn't get too much touches, but even with 1 or 2 touches, he scores because he's that clinical of a finisher. Yeah, but the thing is, and I had a debate with someone on Twitter, right, about this. Erling Haaland, right, listen, it's not just his goal-scoring ability, but the fact he can bring others into play, etc., etc. But I feel like the wingers in Semenyo and Doku are given the license to provide, wing play, innit? Like, I think the fact he's had outlets throughout the course of the season, throughout his time at Man City, in fact, that has helped him. Whereas you look at Gyökeres, I feel like every time we're lumping the ball up to him, he has to do everything by himself. We have our fullbacks tracking back on every opportunity, it feels like, out of possession. And it doesn't help when we're trying to lump the ball long to our striker and our wingers are nowhere to be seen. And that is why Haaland's link-up play is probably somewhat decent, It's nowhere near like his goal-scoring ability and his finishing, etc., etc., but it's still decent. I think if Gyökeres had outlets, proper outlets, and we actually pushed our wingers upfield, I think he'll probably get more assists, than he already has. Saka's goal came off the Trossard shot. We need to bully our opposition from all sides, not just the right wing. Yeah, 100%. And that's why we need to prioritise the left winger for me. And I'm not talking Garnacho, by the way. I'm not talking no Anthony fucking Gordon. We need a level raiser at left wing. And if that is Alvarez, right? If you're bringing in Alvarez and you're playing Gyökeres up top, Alvarez off the left, fine, right? But I would be looking at Yildiz at Juventus. I'd be looking at potentially, Diamande's on the market. He scored 12 goals in the Bundesliga. But I don't know if I'm willing to prioritise any more wingers, forward players from the Bundesliga anymore, especially from fucking RB Leipzig, that's for sure. So I'll probably take a pass on him. I've not really watched a whole lot of Diamande, if I'm being real with you. But you got, obviously, Barcola. Kvaratskhelia would be the dream for me. If you get Kvaratskhelia, then I'm telling you this now. We're going for the Premier League, Champions League, and perhaps one of the FA Cup or Carabao Cup. And I still stand by that if we got Kvaratskhelia last January, we go on to win the Champions League. 100%. That guy is built for the big occasions. Every single time, right, I watch Kvaratskhelia, right, in the Champions League in particular, in the big moments, scores every time. Whereas you look at his stats in the French League, and they're not that amusing, are they? You look at his stats in France and go, what the those are Martinelli stats. But in the Champions League, different gravy, you know. Someone who can create something out of nothing. So he'll be my number one target in the summer. Kvara on that left-hand side. Baller. Should have got him when he was out of favour at Napoli. Big up Godfrey, hope you're good, my bro. I think Gyökeres has been alright this season. Not great, not bad. If only Arteta used him more correctly overall this season would be great. Yeah, I mean, considering the system, right? Considering he hardly gets any service. Considering he doesn't get any chances. And he scored 21 goals. Could you imagine if we had that playmaker, if we had that X factor on the left wing, as I mentioned 2 minutes ago, Kvaratskhelia. Can you imagine how many goals Gyökeres would score under a Luis Enrique, a Hansi Flick, etc.? I think he'll be at least 25, 30 plus. Enjoy, he needs to work on his finishing, but other than that, yeah, baller. But he lost me on Monday night because I swear, if he would have finished just one of them chances, then City would have lost that game. But yeah, I do agree. I think he's a baller, you know. He's had a great season at Everton, and I thought last season he was fairly impressive. It's the same with Dembele, turns up in the UCL for PSG. Yep, 100%. If Arsenal sign Kvara from PSG, that would make a huge difference for Arsenal and can win trophies again. Yeah. I mean, listen, we could still win trophies this season despite not, you know, signing Kvaratskhelia. But I'm talking about the fact if we sign Kvara in the summer, how many trophies do you guys reckon we would win? If you have a front three of Saka, Eze, Kvara, and Gyökeres, yeah, that is dangerous. Chill out. PSG still not played against Bayern Munich, but I think Bayern Munich will advance to the UCL final. You reckon? I still think PSG will actually advance, you know. I really do. What did I say on Michael's stream? I can't remember. Did I say Bayern Munich were going to advance? I actually don't know, you know. Arsenal can win the UCL and the Prem with Odegaard still captain. Yeah, that's crazy. Odegaard has obviously been injured all season and hasn't been fit at all every time he has played. So it's like, well, what's the point having him here? What's the point in starting him? What's the point having faith in the guy when he's been part of failure in the last, 6 years? It just does not make any sense. But anyway, we move to the subs, right? As I said, Subamendi I thought was excellent when he came on. He put a really good shift in for Miles Lewis-Skelly. Noni Madueke. Listen, I'm in a good mood, yeah? But don't ever be ducking out of 50-50s again. That's all I'm going to say, right? I'm in a good mood. So, listen, we'll speak soon on Nonny. We will speak soon indeed. Because, as I said, like, I'm in a good mood. We're through to the Champions League final. Listen, you're escaping criticism for now. Who else came on? Odegaard obviously came on. I thought Odegaard actually played quite well, to be fair. Actually slowed down the tempo and... yeah, just done what Odegaard does best, really. I don't mind Odegaard coming on to see out a game when you're 1-0 up and getting a little bit of control. I don't mind that, to be fair. Hincapié came on. He was insane. He's been one of our best players so far this year. I keep telling everyone about Hincapié that before the season started, that he was potentially going to be our left back. And we've seen him play left back for the vast majority of the season. He's been excellent every time I've watched him. Can you imagine, right? You're starting Calafiori. If you're the opposition, in fact, right? You're starting Calafiori, and the guy's just an absolute nuisance. Right? He's everywhere. Right back, left back, midfield, up top, everywhere. Then you go 1-0 up, and then you bring on Hincapié in the last 10 minutes. Bro, it's peak. I'm telling you. For me, I think Hincapié has probably been one of, if not, I was going to say the best, but I think he's been top 3 left backs in the Premier League this season. 100%. There's not really been many good left backs, but like honestly, if you're watching Hincapié, oh my days, you wait until next season, yeah, when he is starting as the left back or he's coming on to see out a game, you will clock how good he really is, because he's already one of the most underrated, underappreciated signings we've actually made. This guy is a stud whenever he plays, or wherever he plays as well. Left back, centre back. He can do a job anywhere pretty much. I think he's excellent going forward as well. People take that away from him just because of his, defensive capabilities. When he's going forward, I think he's brilliant. That cross he put in for Gyökeres in the second half, excellent. I thought he was superb, Haaland, mugs Saul off easily. Don't know what you mean by that, actually. So you're giving KSI a pass today? Yeah, I am, actually. Just because I'm in a good mood, We'll speak soon on Nonny. If we don't beat West Ham at the weekend, Nonny comes on, he misses a sitter. Yeah, I'm going ballistic. Trust me. So yeah, we're giving KSI a pass today. Just because, to be fair, like, though I've brought up Nonny Madueke quite a few times lately on his, piss poor performances, what else is there that hasn't been said already about that guy? So, there you go. My prediction, Bayern 3, PSG 1. They both have shit centre-backs, but Bayern Munich will win by own attacking players. Yeah, Bayern Munich are devastating on the break, but I just think PSG as a unit, they are unreal. And honestly, I think we've got a better chance of beating Bayern Munich in the final than we do PSG. So I do hope it is Bayern Munich. Not to say Bayern Munich won't be difficult or anything. It's just who I would rather play, who would be more suited to Arsenal. But yeah, I respect it. I do hope that happens. But yeah, guys, how long have we been going on for, by the way? We've been going on for 1 hour and 19 minutes, So I do appreciate everyone who has tuned in today. How many likes are we on, actually? Let me double check. We finished... Ooh, 14, you know. 14, just need one more like, you know. One more like, guys. One more like. And we've done it. But this has been a lit stream, you know. I didn't expect many people to be tuning in, you know, purely because it was about 3:30 I started this stream, so I thought people would be coming back from work, innit? But yeah, I do appreciate everyone who has tuned in. I don't know who's live at the moment that we can redirect to. Who can we redirect to? I haven't got a clue, you know. I don't think anyone is live at the minute. Let me double check. One prediction: Bayern Munich 3, PSG 2, 7-7 on aggregate. PSG win on penalties. Damn. I've got a sense that it will go to penalties as well. But I think PSG might win, you know. Let's see who else is live. Yeah, no one is live at the minute, bro. Interesting. Yeah, crazy. So I guess we're not redirecting to no one. But yeah, guys, appreciate everyone locked in. Make sure you do run the likes up on your way out. And yeah, subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to obviously 2K. So hopefully we reach that come the end of the year. That is the goal anyway. Let me just read out these last few comments before we wrap up. If PSG advance to the UCL final, Arsenal could be roasted. Bayern Munich is more comfortable opponent. I mean, none of them are comfortable. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. None of them are comfortable. But who I'd rather play in the final, Bayern Munich. Are you predicting a firefight or a cagey game? I'm predicting a firefight, you know. I don't think we're going to see any different to what we saw last week. Appreciate it, Jack, my bro. Appreciate it. But yeah, guys, on that bombshell, we're going to wrap things up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like, share. Do what you got to do. And we will catch you in the next one.